This is the show where we take a whole stack of sources, research, history, analysis, and boil it all down to the core insights you can actually use. We don't just skim the surface, we really try to get you inside the material.
And today, we are plunging into a world that really should feel like science fiction, safely in the past.
Yeah.
But instead, it just feels so unnervingly current.
Yeah, it really does.
We're talking about Ray Bradbury's classic Fahrenheit 451. And our mission here is pretty specific. We want to pull out the critical ideas from this text, really understand how prophetically Bradbury saw our digital world coming, and explore the dangerous trade-offs we're all making.
What are we trading?
We're trading complex, difficult thought for, easy manufactured happiness.
Okay, so let's unpack this. We've gone deep into the book, the context it was written in, the psychology of the characters. For you, listening, just picture this. A world where firemen don't put out fires.
They start them.
They start them. And the biggest contraband, the thing they're hunting for, isn't weapons or drugs. It's knowledge. It's books.
It's the ideas inside them.
So why should you care about a book from 1953 about burning paper? I mean, maybe you had to read it in high school and haven't thought about it since.
Right.
Well, here's the hook, the single sentence that makes it so vital today. This story predicted modern society in these just uncanny ways. It warned that we would willingly trade profound, challenging thought for the passive, engineered pleasure of endless screens.
And what's so interesting, and what a lot of people miss, is that the controversy isn't just about some, evil government burning books. That's the surface.
That's the easy version.
Exactly. The real warning from Bradbury is that the people demanded it. The culture itself demanded censorship because they wanted to live in a world where no one is ever made to feel uncomfortable or inadequate by a complex idea. They chose to erase anything difficult.
And the accuracy of his predictions is what's truly startling. I mean, you dive into the sources and it's all there. He's writing decades before the internet, before smartphones. And yet he describes a society that is identical to ours in so many ways. He talks about these tiny listening devices.
The seashell earbuds.
Yes, the seashell earbuds. And they feed this endless stream of algorithm-driven noise and
trivialities and state-approved affirmations. Just this constant hum of nothingness piped directly into your brain.
It's basically noise canceling for your own thoughts.
It is. The sources are really clear that this is a deliberate choice. It's a mechanism of social control. Bradbury calls it a fortress of noise built to keep the dangerous silence of thought at bay.
Dangerous silence.
Because silence is where you start to question things. It's where you stop being a consumer and start being a person. And to the state, that's incredibly dangerous.
And then you have the screens. The parlor walls.
Oh, the parlor walls.
Entire rooms, floor to ceiling, that are immersive, interactive screens. And you, the citizen, you participate in these never-ending soap operas with your digital family.
It's a terrifyingly accurate vision of curated reality, isn't it? That constant stream of content designed for distraction, making sure that dangerous silence never, ever gets a chance to creep in.
And they're not just passive like a TV. They talk to you. They demand you interact.
Yes. They're a substitute for real relationships. Bradbury understood that the best censorship isn't blocking information, it's flooding you with so much trivial junk that you lose the ability to process anything deep.
So if you, listening, have ever felt just overwhelmed by the digital noise, like you're plugged into a system designed to keep you watching, then this book isn't some historical piece. It's a live warning.
Absolutely. It's happening right now.
Okay, let's get into the world itself, the premise. Let's do a non-spoiler overview first.
All right. So the setting is a near-future American city. It's very modern, but it's also deeply sick. Houses are all fireproofed, which means the old job of a fireman is totally obsolete.
So the word fireman now means the opposite.
Exactly. It's this chilling inversion. Their job is to be the government's incinerators for the ultimate contraband books.
And our protagonist, Guy Montag, he's the perfect product of this culture.
Oh, completely. For 10 years, he's been a proud fireman. The sources describe how he thinks the smell of kerosene is like a perfume.
Wow.
He loves the feel of the flamethrower, the salamander, and gets this rush of satisfaction from burning things. He has this fierce primal grin because his job is simple. He doesn't ask why, he just obeys.
He's the poster child for a society that has mistaken numbness for happiness.
100%. And his whole world is defined by speed and simplicity. Jet cars scream down highways so fast you can't see the world outside. It's just a blur. The goal is to eliminate detail, eliminate thought.
Because if you can't see anything, you can't question anything.
Precisely. It's a carefully engineered state of sensory overload. They've achieved a weird kind of equality by making sure everyone is equally ignorant.
And the cost of that is seen so clearly in his wife, Mildred.
Oh, Mildred is just a tragic figure. Her entire reality is those parlor walls. Her family is the cast of actors on her screens. She knows their scripted lives better than her own husband's.
And she's always wanting more screens, right? To build a complete four-sided prison for herself.
A shimmering electronic prison. Her life is a total illusion.
Yeah.
Perfectly curated and, well, profoundly empty.
All right, so that's the setup. Let's get into the spoiler section now. The rebellion.
So the cracks start to appear. And it doesn't begin with some big political event. It starts with a question.
The simple question.
From a 17-year-old girl named Clarisse McClellan. She's this total anomaly. She walks slowly. She notices things like the dew on the grass. And she asks Montag the most dangerous question possible in this society.
Are you happy?
Are you happy? And that one question just shatters his whole worldview. That primal grin he's worn for a decade just vanishes. He's forced to confront this deep, unspoken unhappiness he didn't even know he had.
And it gets real very fast. That same night, he goes home and finds Mildred.
He finds she's attempted suicide. Just casually downed an entire bottle of sleeping pills.
And the scene is so chilling. The people who come aren't doctors. They're just mechanics with a machine.
They treat her like a broken appliance.
Exactly. They pump out her blood, pump in new blood, and tell Montag, we get 9 or 10 of these a night. It's not a crisis. It's routine maintenance for a society that's dying of emptiness.
And Mildred doesn't even remember it the next day. She just wants to go back to her TV family.
But Montag remembers he can't unsee the emptiness.
So that's the first crack. What's the turning point? The point of no return.
It's the fire call to the old woman's house, this woman. She represents this deep spiritual connection to knowledge. As they're dousing her books in kerosene, Montag's hand it acts on its own. He steals a book.
Just grabs one.
Hides it under his coat. But the real spark is her. She refuses to leave. She stands there among her books, quotes a line about being a candle for God, and lights the match herself.
She chooses to burn with her knowledge. Yes. Her death is a testament to an idea. The idea that what's in those pages is worth more than a life. And that's an idea Montag just cannot shake.
So now he has this stolen book, this hot coal under his pillow. What does he do?
He's desperate. He seeks out this retired English professor he once met, a man named Faber. Faber is terrified at first. He's full of regret for not speaking up when the burning started.
A common theme.
Yes. But Montag's raw hunger for meaning convinces him. Faber gives him this little two-way earpiece, the green bullet, so he can guide Montag, be his intellectual conscience.
They have a plan, right? A pretty naive one.
Very naive. To plant books in the homes of other firemen and watch the system burn itself down, but it unravels almost immediately. Montag, in this foolish attempt to connect with Mildred and her friends, reads a poem aloud to them, Dover Beach.
Which is not a happy poem.
Not at all. It's full of sadness and complexity, and it horrifies them. They burst into tears, they accuse him of being cruel, and they run off to report him.
So he's exposed.
Completely. The fire alarm rings, and it's for his own house.
Which leads to the final confrontation with his boss, Captain Beatty.
Exactly. And Beatty isn't angry. He's smiling. He's this cynical, knowing master manipulator. He starts taunting Montag, quoting all this literature at him, just showing off that he's read it all.
So Beatty is the ultimate hypocrite.
He's more than that. He's a fallen intellectual. He's the system's best defender because he knows what he's destroying. He saw the chaos of ideas in books and chose the peace of ignorance instead.
And he makes Montag burn his own house.
Yes, piece by piece. But then Beatty threatens to trace the earpiece back to Faber. And that's when Montag snaps. He turns the flamethrower on his captain.
He kills him.
Incinerates him. He becomes a murderer and a fugitive all in one night.
And the whole city is watching.
Instantly. His escape becomes the night's blockbuster entertainment. A live, citywide reality TV show manhunt broadcast on every parlor wall. He goes from being an anonymous fireman to the star of a public execution.
Tracked by helicopters and this mechanical hound.
This terrifying 8-legged robotic predator. He only just escapes by throwing himself into a river. The water is this cleansing moment, washing away the kerosene, washing away his old identity.
But the TV show needs an ending.
It needs a satisfying ending for the audience. So, since they can't catch the real Montag, the cameras just find someone else. An innocent man, a random pedestrian walking at night.
And they just kill him on live television.
The hound attacks him, kills him, and the announcer declares that Guy Montag is dead. The spectacle is more important than the truth.
That is horrifyingly modern.
And then Montag stumbles out of the woods and finds them. The book people.
The living libraries.
Yes, this community of scholars who have each memorized an entire book, waiting for society to collapse so they can rebuild. They welcome him. He becomes the Book of Ecclesiastes.
And just as he joins them, the city is destroyed.
The war that was always just a murmur in the background finally happens. Enemy bombers just vaporize the city in a nuclear flash. The ignorant state self-destructs.
And the story ends with them walking back towards the ruins.
Led by their leader, Granger, who talks about the phoenix, the bird that burns itself up and is reborn from the ashes. He says humanity does this over and over. But maybe, just maybe, this time they'll remember their mistakes.
So it's an ending of hope.
A very fragile, quiet hope. They're not going back to rule. They're going back to remember and to help others remember.
Let's talk about the man behind this vision, Ray Bradbury. You can't really understand this book without understanding him.
You really can't. The key thing to know is that Bradbury was a lifelong lover of libraries. This book wasn't some cold academic exercise for him. It was a cry of passion and grief.
He wrote it in a library basement, right?
That's right. On a typewriter he rented for 10 cents a half hour. This was an immediate alarm bell he was ringing about his own time, the early 1950s. Not some distant future.
And the specific thing he was alarmed about was television.
The explosion of television. He was terrified that if you gave people a choice between the hard work of reading and the easy pleasure of passive entertainment, they would choose easy every time.
And that choice, made willingly by the people, is the real foundation of the dystopia.
Absolutely. He wasn't afraid of the government forcing people to watch TV. He was afraid of people choosing to stop thinking for themselves. It's his most direct critique of that emerging consumer culture and technological distraction.
Which is why we have to place it in its historical context. The 1950s, the Cold War, McCarthyism.
All of it. The push for conformity was immense. But Bradbury's most brilliant insight was this idea of censorship from below.
Explain that.
Well, Beatty, the fire captain, he explains that the government didn't start the book burning. The public demanded it. People started complaining that books were offensive.
Because they contained contradictions or made people feel sad or inadequate.
Exactly. If a book offended any group, for any reason, the easiest solution wasn't to debate it. It was to burn it, to erase the offending idea entirely.
The demand for total comfort led to total censorship.
And that's the link to today, isn't it? This age of online outrage where the desire to never be uncomfortable is so strong. We want our feeds to be echo chambers. We block or silence anything that creates friction. Bradbury saw that impulse and just took it to its logical conclusion.
So the society not only gets rid of difficult ideas, it also builds this fortress of noise to prevent new ones from ever forming.
The jet cars, the seashell radios, the parlor walls, it's all designed to eliminate silence.
Because silence is where thought begins.
It's where unwanted ideas grow. If you keep the mind saturated with constant trivial input, it never has the chance to realize how unhappy it is. It's not just censoring information, they're censoring the capacity to even care about it.
Which brings us right to the central theme of the book, this idea of numbness versus true happiness.
Yes. The society has traded complexity for a fragile, manufactured contentment, but it's a contentment that's paper thin.
And Mildred is the ultimate example of that trade-off.
She is. She's immersed in her digital fantasy world. But she's so empty that attempting suicide is just a normal part of her week. The system has created a peace that's so meaningless, it's killing everyone's soul.
But Faber, the old professor, he offers the alternative. He has a blueprint for a healthy society.
He does. He lays out 3 things that books provide, 3 things their society has eliminated, and they're so important.
Okay, what's the first one?
The first is quality, texture, and detail. Faber says good books show the pores on the face of life.
The messy parts, the ugly parts.
All of it, the complexity. The parlor walls, on the other hand, give you a smooth, perfect, frictionless image. Bradbury's point is that if you only consume simple, easy ideas, you become a simple, easy person.
Okay, so quality is number 1. What's number 2?
Number 2 is leisure. And he doesn't just mean free time. He means having the mental space to digest information, to think about it, to argue with it.
Which their society of constant speed and noise makes impossible.
Completely impossible. If you can't slow down, you can't think deeply.
And the third requirement?
The freedom to act on what you've learned for the first 2. If you have quality information and you've had the leisure to process it, You must then have the right to apply it, to change things. The system is designed to keep everyone a passive spectator.
So quality, leisure, and action, that's the formula.
That's the bedrock of a thinking society.
This all leads to that big idea you mentioned earlier, the cycle of destruction and rebirth. The phoenix.
Exactly. Granger introduces this after the city is annihilated. He suggests that humanity just does this to itself over and over. It burns itself down through war and ignorance.
Because it forgets.
Because it forgets. And it always chooses comfort over wisdom. But the book people, they represent the hope that maybe, just maybe, this time the cycle can be broken. They hold the memories.
They are the tools for rebuilding, which gets at that other core conflict, individuality versus conformity.
Yes. The firemen are called the custodians of our peace of mind. Their job is to make sure everyone is equally ignorant, equally content.
By burning books, they're burning the tools that create individuals.
That's it, exactly. They're enforcing a conformity built on the lowest common denominator of easy pleasure.
Let's really dig into these characters because they're not just symbols, they're so human. Let's start with Montag himself.
Montag's arc is so powerful. He starts with that proud, primal grin, totally convinced he's doing good work. And his journey is this terrifying sprint from blind obedience to active rebellion, all fueled by the realization that his life is a complete lie.
He literally has to burn his old world down to find a new one.
He does. He runs away from the destructive fire of the state toward the warming fire of community and knowledge.
And then there's his wife, Mildred, the consumed.
She's just such a tragic warning about confusing a digital illusion with real connection. She doesn't even remember her own suicide attempt. Her mind is just wiped clean every morning, ready for more content.
And when Montag brings books into the house, she sees them as a physical threat.
A threat to her comfort, to her manufactured peace. She can't engage with the ideas. She just sees chaos. She's the embodiment of terrified conformity.
Then you have Clarisse, the catalyst.
The anomaly. The girl who notices the dew on the grass. Her value isn't that she's some great intellectual. It's her simple human curiosity.
Her ability to ask the right question.
To ask personal questions. Are you happy? She reminds Montag that there's another way to live, and her sudden disappearance shows just how intolerant the state is of even the slightest bit of individualism.
But the most complex character, for my money, is Captain Beatty, the fallen intellectual.
I agree. He is the most chilling character because he's not an idiot. He's brilliant. He's the system's best defender because he's read all the books. He knows exactly what he's destroying.
He made a conscious choice for ignorance.
Out of cynicism and exhaustion. He saw the chaos of ideas and chose the easy path. When he's taunting Montag with literary quotes, it's just devastating. He's using knowledge to argue against knowledge.
He's the ultimate warning of a brilliant mind choosing to serve destruction.
Absolutely. And finally, you have the resistance. Faber and the book people.
The quiet rebellion.
Quiet and patient. Faber is full of regret for not acting sooner. The book people represent this idea that even if you destroy the artifacts, the books, the ideas can survive inside us, in memory.
They're not warriors, they're librarians of the mind.
Yes, intellectual servants just waiting for the world to need them again. Their revolution is patience.
The book's power isn't just in the ideas, though. It's in the way it's written. Bradbury's style is so unique.
It's so poetic. The sensory language is incredible. He's constantly contrasting the cool night air that Clarisse feels with the roar of the jets, and that sick feeling of the smell of kerosene is like a perfume.
It's a sensory battle, mirroring Montag's internal battle.
It really is. The city is all hard, metallic sounds and shrieking speed. The wilderness where he finds freedom is quiet and warm. It's a choice between sensory overload and quiet contemplation.
And he uses these powerful symbols throughout, the most obvious one being fire.
Right. Fire starts as this destructive cleansing tool of the state. It's Montag's whole identity. But by the end, it transforms into a symbol of warmth, community, and memory at the book people's campfire.
He learns that fire can create as well as destroy.
And then there's the river. When he plunges into that cold water, it's this definitive act of cleansing. It washes away the kerosene, washes away his old identity. He emerges a new man.
We have to talk more about the parlor walls. As a symbol, they're just so powerful.
They are the ultimate symbol of manufactured reality, of spectacle over substance. The fact that Mildred wants that fourth wall to complete her electronic prison, it just shows how deep the need for total immersion and distraction goes.
It's interesting to look at how the book was received then versus how we see it now.
Well, when it came out in '53, it was seen as a very direct critique of its time. of McCarthyism, of conformity, and especially of the rise of television.
But its legacy has shifted. It's become more prophetic over time.
Incredibly so. It started as a warning about passive TV watching. But today, it speaks directly to our world of interactive, curated screens and the endless scroll. The danger isn't just watching, it's participating in our own numbness.
It's a classic because it just stays relevant. It forces every generation to ask, is our world silently burning right now?
Not with kerosene and matches,
Yeah.
but with our own indifference.
And its influence on culture is huge, especially some of those ideas that were so ahead of their time, like the reality show Manhunt.
That is a devastatingly modern critique. Montag's Escape is packaged as entertainment, a live thriller with a guaranteed ending. It's about a society that prizes spectacle over substance.
Where a real human tragedy is just another TV show.
And the most terrifying part of that is the scapegoat. The fact that the show needs a satisfying ending, so they just kill an innocent bystander on live TV to provide one.
Narrative closure over truth.
It's an incredibly powerful statement about media manipulation and the public's thirst for a neat story, even if it's a complete lie.
And you can see its DNA in so much dystopian fiction that came after.
It's a foundational text. It established this idea of control through pleasure and distraction, not just brute force. It showed how a society could collapse under the weight of its own triviality.
So as we wrap up, what are the key takeaways? For me, the thing that is just so chilling is that the people chose this. They gave up knowledge for simple fun.
They traded it away.
And the cost is Mildred's empty life. The fact that 9 or 10 suicide attempts a night is just routine. That's the price of manufactured happiness. It's a piece that destroys the soul.
For me, it all comes back to Faber's 3 points, especially the first one, about the quality of information. We need the pores on the face of life. I urge anyone listening to just pay attention to the silence versus noise in your own life. What are you letting drown out your own thoughts?
So the application for you listening is that this book is a blueprint for a self-check. What complex truth have you maybe traded for the convenience of the endless scroll? Who would enjoy this book today?
Anyone who feels overwhelmed by the constant digital noise and fears we're losing our depth. Anyone who misses quiet, difficult contemplation.
Before we go, we have to talk about the mechanical hound in a bit more detail.
Yes, that thing is terrifying. It's not a dog. It's an 8-legged robotic predator with a massive anesthetic needle. It's programmed with a person's chemical makeup and it just hunts them. It's the perfect symbol of cold, efficient technology turned against humanity.
No mercy, no error, just the ultimate executioner.
And on the other end of the spectrum, you have that beautiful final image, the final walk.
Granger's message about them walking back to the city.
They're not going back to conquer. They're going back to remember and to help others remember. It's a mission of quiet, intellectual servitude. They're just waiting for humanity to ask for the truth again.
It's such a patient, hopeful ending to a very dark story.
It suggests that even after total destruction, the seed of knowledge survives.
And with that, our deep dive into Fahrenheit 451 comes to a close. We've seen the lasting power of Bradbury's warning, that the greatest threat isn't always an external enemy, but our own internal indifference to complexity.
The book really asks all of us to decide what we value more, the instant gratification of the screen or the profound, sometimes difficult knowledge locked within a book and within ourselves.
The final warning isn't just about the fire, it's about what we choose to look away from. When we finally look up from our screens, what will be left to save?
That's the question. Thank you for diving deep with us.
We'll see you next time.